Enchanted Rock, a slightly out-of-breath adventure to the top of Texas Hill Country. The history and the bad decisions. If you've ever looked at a giant pink granite dome sticking out of the middle of Texas Hill Country and thought, you know what sounds like a good idea. Walking straight up that thing. Then congratulations, you and I have made the same questionable life decision. Welcome to Enchanted Rock State Natural Area. Just outside Fredericksburg, Texas, from a distance. Enchanted Rock looks like nature. Accidentally dropped a moon-sized boulder into the hill country and decided to leave it there. Rising 425 feet above the surrounding landscape. This massive pink granite dome has been attracting visitors for thousands of years. And after climbing it myself, I can confidently say there are two types of people. Those who have climbed Enchanted Rock, and those whose knees still work properly. My journey began in the parking lot, where I was full of confidence, energy, and absolutely no understanding of what was waiting for me. Looking at the rock from below, I thought, that doesn't look too bad. This was the first of many lies I would tell myself that day, before starting the climb. It's worth talking about the incredible history of this place. The rock itself is about 1 billion years old. That's right, 1 billion. To put that in perspective, this rock was already ancient when dinosaurs showed up. It has survived tectonic activity, erosion, ice ages, and countless generations of humans. Meanwhile, I once threw my back out reaching for a remote control. For over 12,000 years, indigenous peoples visited this area. The rock held spiritual significance and inspired many legends. Some believed mysterious sounds coming from the granite were caused by spirits living inside the dome. After climbing halfway up, I was making mysterious sounds too. Scientists explain that the noises are caused by the rock expanding and contracting with temperature changes. My noises were caused by poor cardiovascular decisions. As I reached the beginning of the summit trail, I noticed something unusual. There aren't many switchbacks. There aren't many gentle slopes. Instead, the trail basically says, see that giant rock, go up. And that's the entire strategy. The climb starts innocently enough. The granite feels solid beneath your feet. The views begin opening up. Birds are singing. The sun is shining. Everything is wonderful. For approximately 3 minutes, then the incline starts getting steeper. Suddenly, you're no longer hiking. You're negotiating with gravity. Every 100 feet becomes a major achievement. You start developing a close personal relationship with your water bottle. You begin looking at small patches of shade, the way treasure hunters look at buried gold. At one point, I stopped to admire the scenery, which is hiker language for I need a minute. The interesting thing about Enchanted Rock is that because you're climbing exposed granite, there isn't much to distract you from the fact that you're climbing exposed granite. There's no forest canopy overhead, no hidden trail, just you, the rock, and a growing awareness that maybe you should have done more squats. Halfway up, I turned around and immediately forgot how tired I was. The views were incredible. The hill country stretched out in every direction. Trees that had seemed enormous from the ground now looked tiny. The parking lot had shrunk to the size of a toy set. I also realized something important. The people at the bottom looked like ants, which meant I probably looked like an ant to someone at the top. A very sweaty ant. Continuing upward, I noticed other hikers. Some were smiling. Some were taking photos. Some had the 1,000-yard stare of people questioning every life choice that brought them to this moment. We exchanged the universal hiking greeting. Almost there. None of us knew if that was true, but we kept saying it. And somehow, step by step, we all kept moving upward. Finally, after what felt like a journey across 3 geological eras, I reached the summit. And wow, the top of Enchanted Rock is spectacular. The summit isn't just a point. It's a huge granite plateau that seems to go on forever. Standing there, I was surrounded by a full 360-degree panorama of Texas hill country. Rolling hills stretched to every horizon. Ranches, forests, and distant ridgelines blended into layer after layer of scenery. The wind swept across the summit. Birds soared overhead. The sky felt enormous. And for a few moments, everything became quiet. Well, except for my breathing. But eventually that settled down too. The view was so stunning that I immediately forgot how difficult the climb had been. This is one of nature's greatest tricks. You struggle your way to the top. You arrive exhausted. Then your brain goes, "That was amazing. We should do it again someday." No, we should not. At least not today. As I wandered around the summit, I imagined all the people who had stood here over the centuries. Indigenous tribes, explorers, settlers, Texas Rangers, generations of hikers, and probably every one of them looked out across the landscape and thought some version of the same thing. Wow. Although some may have also thought, now we have to go back down. And that brings us to the descent. Descending Enchanted Rock is a completely different experience. On the way up, you're focused on reaching the top. On the way down, you're focused on not becoming a YouTube video. The slope suddenly looks much steeper than it did before. Gravity becomes aggressively supportive. Every step requires a little more attention. You discover muscles you didn't know existed, and they all have complaints. Somewhere along the way, your knees decide they'd like to file a formal protest. Your calves begin negotiating for better working conditions. And every smooth patch of granite starts looking suspiciously slippery. Still, the trip down provides a whole new perspective. The scenery changes. The details become clearer. Trees grow larger. The parking lot slowly returns to normal size. Civilization reappears. The sounds of nature are gradually replaced by the unmistakable rustle of snack wrappers and car doors. And eventually, after carefully making your way back to the base, you reach level ground. The feeling is part relief, part accomplishment, and part desire to immediately sit down. Looking back at the giant granite dome, I couldn't help but smile. Enchanted Rock is one of those places that manages to be many things at once. It's a geological wonder, a sacred cultural site, a place of legends and history, a natural masterpiece shaped over 1 billion years. And, depending on your fitness level, an unexpectedly effective leg workout. As the sun reflected off the pink granite one last time, I realized why so many people return year after year. It's not just the views. It's not just the history. It's not just the adventure. It's the experience of standing atop something ancient, looking across miles of Texas hill country, and feeling connected to a landscape that has inspired us for thousands of years. Plus, afterward, you've earned the biggest burger in Fredericksburg. And honestly, that might be the most magical part of all. Because long after the photos are taken and the hike is over, you'll remember two things: the incredible view from the summit, and the exact moment your legs informed you they would not be participating in tomorrow's activities. That's the true enchantment of Enchanted Rock. The memories last forever. The soreness only feels like it does